What if your child visited you in a vision a year and a half before they were even conceived? For Kaylen, becoming a mother didn't simply change her life, it changed the way she understands life itself. A Charlotte native, entrepreneur, global changemaker, and founder leading initiatives in Sierra Leone and Nigeria, Kaylen has learned that some of our greatest lessons aren't found in success, but in surrender. After caring for both of her grandparents through the end of their lives and raising a daughter who continues to teach her every day, she has come to see birth, death, and becoming as part of the same sacred journey. Welcome to What Are You Birthing featuring Kaylen Frazier. All right, I am sitting with Miss Kaylen Frazier. Hello, beautiful.
Hi.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Excellent. Yeah. And I am so happy to have you.
Thank
you. Before we dive into this interview, can you give us an introduction of who you are? Tell us what you do and maybe some of the beautiful things that you're working on.
Absolutely. So my name is Kaylen Frazier. I'm a Charlotte native, born and raised, and right now, I'm really excited about Sue International Resources. It's a nonprofit that I started shortly after my daughter was born, inspired by my visit to Sierra Leone in the village. So we have two different initiatives going on that I'm very excited about. A sanitation initiative. We're building sanitation stalls equipped with toilets and showers and hand washing stations, and also a agricultural project dealing with cacao in Nigeria that's connecting elder farmers with new generation agricultural students through the Cacao Association of Nigeria. So those things are what I do right now. And I'm also a mother. And I am a partner, and I am just excited about creating. I'm leaning into my artsy side these days. So I'm getting back into photography and movement because dance is something that I love. Cooking, I love to eat. So yeah, those are the things. Yeah.
Well, that all sounds so beautiful. Yeah. Sounds like you're giving birth to lots of things and rebirth as well.
Absolutely.
So I'm interested, who were you? I heard you say mother, and I know that. But who were you before you became a mother? I want to hear all about that person.
Great question. So as I mentioned, I love to dance. So I was a dancer. I've always, from liturgical to ballet to jazz to African style dancing, I've always been a dancer. And so between dancing, entrepreneurship, I started a juice bar called Juice Code. It was a mobile juice bar. And I have just always been a creator and an entrepreneur. And so just before I became a mother, I was actually planning on moving to Thailand to just kind of start anew. I had just started giving away a bunch of my stuff because I wanted to be a minimalist. So I was in the midst of giving away things in preparation to move to Thailand. And I was a yes to life, right? Nothing really could stop me from exploring an opportunity, from taking a risk, and just really just believing in myself. So, one of the things my mom used to tell me, especially when I was single and, was be selfish. This is the time to be selfish. So I was highly motivated. I was selfish when it came to choosing what felt good to me. And yeah, I was just about life.
Okay. So how did you transition, or do you feel like there's been a transition with that part of yourself? Because that is a past version of you. And now you said, I'm a mother, I'm a partner, and these things. What has changed?
I feel like that's a really large bite, right? If I could say what has changed, it's definitely my relationship with sacrifice. And I really don't even want to use the word sacrifice. I guess I would really say the one word is that's coming up is like stewardship. I felt like the shift from like singlehood was like, okay, like I have so many things, right, that I can choose, that I could do, that if it ends, it ends. If it, that, you know, and it was just me, right? My decisions impacted me. Becoming a mother and a partner, I am more centered around how I am nourishing the things that are connected to me, right? So it is this level of like stewardship and responsibility and like honor, right? That I have that I didn't have before. Yeah.
And I'm curious to know if how you've given yourself permission to show up in the world has changed from one version of yourself to the next. How has that shifted?
I think the shift is still happening. Yeah. Yeah, the shift is still happening. Because there is a part, I guess in my experience, and I would dare to say in many women's experience, where it's a constant reminder that the old you, right? Like, you know, I being the old you is like really not a thing. It's just not a thing, right? There is this level of like rebirth, reconsideration, renewing, like kind of severing some attachments, some practices, some beliefs, right? Because we are literally, we have created something that now we have to pour into, right? And so this is this, the old narrative is like, okay, do I give this child, do I give these things my own narrative, or do I pour from a place of like more wisdom and more capacity, right? So yeah, I think it's continuing to shift as I operate more in like who I am right now, right? And who I am right now is continuing to unfold. I think I get more space to become as my children get older. I feel like to see who they are becoming, even as young as they are, is really a pat on my back to say like, wow, like the time that you've poured, even now, like is already, the return on investment is like, wow, you know, already. And so it inspires me to continue to be open to the ebb and flow of like what this season is and like what this version of me is like bringing into my life.
I love that so much, the shift. And what we don't talk about enough is that there within that shift is death. It's one of those things that's like off the table in terms of conversation. We're kind of afraid to talk about death.
Absolutely.
And death of a version of ourselves we once knew, once we become a mother, and even the version of ourselves we imagined, you know, would be in the future.
Absolutely.
You talked so beautifully about your children and how it is a return on investment. But you also mentioned like that you felt strong and ferocious in your transformation into motherhood. What does that word ferocious mean to you? What became of Kaylan when you became a mom?
Oh, so the ferociousness is it's a few parts to that ferociousness. We've talked before about how conception to birthing to motherhood really felt like this level of like initiation into something so much larger than myself, right? Part of that ferociousness comes from that experience, that journey.
Tell us about a little bit of that too.
It is from the spiritual experiences that were attached to Ava, my daughter, even like choosing me. I'm talking about a year and a half before I actually got pregnant. Being in ceremony and having an experience where she actually came to me and said, like, I'm your child, right? She was just a light. She had no gender, but I knew that a soul had chose me a year and a half before it actually happened. And in between that time, I went to my partner's country, Africa, Sierra Leone specifically, met the woman who birthed him. She was about 95 at the time when I met her. Went to the villages of both his father and mother. So there was, beyond those things, there were so many things that happened, right? That created this shift between my selfishness and my, like, wow, I am connected to something so much bigger than just me. Then to becoming pregnant and having these experiences, it was this shift from I have no attachments, and therefore I really don't have anything to fight for except for the things that I want to create. The ferociousness came into play when I had something to protect, right? Something beyond just my child, right? I had a partnership to protect. I had a family now, right? In a whole nother country, right? To protect. I had stuff, right? To protect. I had a reason to fight. I had a reason, like, not to accept anything less, right? Than what could add value to a future vision, like, of myself, right? And so then when Ava was actually born, the pain of birth is something my body will never forget. It's something that I will never forget. And it's a sacredness to it as well, right? To stretch ourselves in the way that we do when we're birthing, right? Especially, whether it's a medicated birth or not, right? There's still this level of, like, stretching and capacity that is so different from when you're not birthing, right? And that birthing happens, whether you're birthing a child or you're birthing a project, right? It's still stretching us. And that the pain taught me that because I went through this for this, like, soul, there's nothing in this world that will ever, right? Like, that can touch her, right? Like, it's just, yeah, that is the ferociousness. I have something to protect, right? And I always will.
I understand that deeply. I do.
Yeah.
And I had the privilege of seeing you, just witnessing you unfold so beautifully. It's always a pleasure because I served as your doula.
Yes.
And I remember at one point it was just us, just going through it. Do you remember?
Oh, girl, yes.
It was days of just us unfolding and me just kind of holding space for you and reassuring you and providing comfort. And holding space and holding space and holding space as you stretched.
Yeah.
What is it that your body taught you and pregnancy taught you that your mind couldn't teach you?
Capacity. Absolutely capacity. It's so interesting, like, as I think about our moments together, like, before my birth, right? I remember it was this one session we were in, and you were attempting to recreate, right? Like, an experience of, like, okay, you have a sensation, but how do you move through the sensation, right? Like, I think you used ice. Right? It was like ice on my skin, right? How long can I, like, bear it, right? And to, like, actually teach me to, like, reconnect to my breath. That is so much different, right? Like, that moment, right? And me trying to reconnect to my body, like, through the pain, I had to tap into a different level of capacity that I could have never talked myself through, right? I could have never intellectualized that. I couldn't have read it in a book. Nobody could have told me that, right? Like, I had to literally feel it and make the space to, like, hold that. And it actually taught me how to practice capacity in motherhood and in partnership and, like, in some other areas of my life too.
So that makes sense because it's like trying to explain like the blue sky to a blind person. Like you cannot, you know what I mean? Because your version of blue and all the details of the sky and even the shift of time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what the sky looks like at a moment later.
Absolutely.
Is going to be very different from someone else's interpretation of that. So that's beautiful. You mentioned that your body felt unfamiliar at times. So what has it been like learning to love and build a relationship with the woman you are today instead of trying to get back to who you used to be?
Yes. So are we talking about body wise or woman wise? Like,
I say your bodies.
Okay.
So energetically, your spiritual body, your physical body, all of it.
I love that. So physical body, it's been a challenge because I've always fluctuated between like, a 8 to a 10, right? I think now I'm probably around a 16. And so that's challenging for me because it feels like a body I've never inhabited before. It's been challenging to dress it in a new way, right? Like the same style that I had is shifting to accommodate my idea of like my body. There's been moments where I've been disembodied, right? Like it's been a up and down, like narrative shift around like my body, right? My physical body. My spiritual body has paralleled my life in the sense that motherhood, for the first year of Ava's life, I was at home, right? My whole world was Ava, keeping her nourished, making sure she was growing, right? And so I can honestly say I forgot myself in that year. I really did. And a lot of the spiritual practices that I had also kind of fell to the back burner, And so for a while, my spiritual practice, which had been such a part of like who I am and my really just my hygiene, right? It's just a part of my day. It ended up not being, right? And so fast forward, Ava just turned 3. I feel like I'm finally getting there, to be honest, right? I'm finally appreciating my body, my physical body for like what it is. I'm not adding any extra pressure to lose the weight or to look like I was before or to, and I am carving out, I'm being a lot more intentional about getting out of bed and just going to my altar. Like, because actually everything can take a moment to wait, right? So I think my spiritual and my physical bodies have been the most like sensational for me lately, and the ones that I've been in and out of relationship with, but now I'm in better relationship with, and it's a constant, process. For sure.
It sounds like you're going through a season. Yeah. And every season asked us to shift and let go of something possibly.
Yeah.
What have you had to release to make room for the woman that you're becoming now?
I want to say like this sense of control that I feel like I had prior to motherhood and partnership, and it was mostly because I didn't have a lot attached to me. And I think that now that I do, I've realized that like everything that is attached to me has its own energetic story, right? It has its own purpose, its own mission, right? And so if that is the case, there's only but so much I can do to change a thing, right? To capture a thing, to move a thing. And so I have really been releasing control. Yeah.
That's a beautiful thought. Because a lot of times we think, oh, I'm the parent and I have all the answers. I have all the lessons. But these little people enter our lives with their own wisdom.
Absolutely.
They come to teach us as well. And it takes a certain person to understand that and accept, like, we are kind of giving and taking to each other. It's like this continuous, like, exchange of energy.
Yeah.
So I think that's really beautiful that you have embraced that. And you talked a little bit about Eva's personality. What has she taught you about who you are?
Yes. She has really taught me that I'm enough. She never questions how she takes up space in the room. She never questions her boundaries. She never, she is really good at like reading like her environment and making a decision herself, right? These are aspects in her that I feel like have always been in me, right? And living has often told me that I can't be too big, that I am not enough, that, I need more to prove myself for some way, right? And what she continues to remind me is that like, hey, I knew who I was when I got here. I know who I am now, and ain't nothing going to stop that. So either you can love me through this and just continue to add value to my life, or you can just leave me alone. And that is like the best lesson that she continues to teach me.
Yes, yeah. Eva.
Yeah.
Ava.
Yes. Yeah. She's that girl.
She's that girl.
She's that girl. She really is.
Beautiful. Yeah. I love that. And they ground us in a way that we wouldn't have been able to get it from anyone else.
Absolutely. And I love like when you had just mentioned like how sometimes like we can be so focused on like, well, I'm the parent, you're the child. And there's this level of exhaustion that comes from that level of control, right? And one of the wonderful pieces of like wisdom that I got from my birthing team when I was in labor and like throughout the process is like, you have an intelligence already in you that knows your body actually better than you do, right? Trust that she can come out, right? Trust that she can navigate. Trust that she knows, right? And for some reason, it wasn't like a radical thought. It was just different from what I've heard around birthing, right? And it still applies to parenting. That I trust, right? That she's been like coded already, like with her own sense of like knowingness, right? And her own things. And like sometimes in moments where I'm at my edge, I just really have to lean into like, actually, we're partners, right? We're partners. I'm not your parent in this moment. Like, you have something to give me. I have something to give you. This is a relationship about like reciprocity in a sense, right? And love and joy. And like, I don't have to control you, right? I just have to create a container for you to like be who you are, right? Like, and so I'm still leaning into a lot of the things that like I have learned in preparing for birth.
That's incredible. I love that so much. I just had a conversation with my now 14-year-old who will be 15 about him. I said, listen, I'm here as a facilitator.
Yeah.
I'm here to guide you along the way. I'm not here to control you.
Yeah.
I see the things that you're interested in and let me help you.
Yeah.
And I saw something click on for him, you know, but I don't know if I would have been that parent 5 years ago. And so that's so beautiful that at 3, she has that in you. We're partners.
Mm-hmm.
So caregiving has a way of asking us to constantly pour from our own cup. So what has it helped you with in ways of refilling your own cup? Mm-hmm. And what do you do to bring yourself back to you outside of all the titles of partner, mother, worker, daughter, whatever the case may be?
Yeah. So my spiritual practice, for sure. That's always grounding. I think recognizing that there is something outside of myself that is here to support me and, keep me on track in a sense. So my spiritual practice pours into me. Also, like crashing the chatterbox that says I don't have enough time. That's a narrative that I think I created once I found out I was pregnant, like into my postpartum phase, that like, I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. And it created like this sense of like anxiety in me. And also it became like this like this tool that I was using not to take care of myself. And so I definitely am working through, like, actually, I do have enough time. It's my responsibility to make it. And so those two things have really been helping me to, like, lean more into ease and alignment. And that's the season that I'm in now, is like ease and alignment.
That's a beautiful season too, because a lot of our actions is what actually teaches our children, not necessarily what we say.
Absolutely.
So as Ava watches you navigate motherhood, change, healing, and growth, what do you hope that she's learning as she's watching you?
That that my mom knows, not because the world tells her, but because she knows it, like, within herself, and she doesn't give up. And if she does give up, then it's because it's just not for her. Like, it's just not, I just want her to learn strength and character and joy, ultimately. Like, those are the three things that I hope that she's learning: strength, character, and joy.
So when you think about all the versions of yourself, so the little girl, the young woman, the mother, the caregiver, which version of you are you most grateful for? And which one carried you here?
I think the one that has carried me here is the caregiver. And I don't look at the caregiver as like a seasonal thing. I feel like it's an aspect of who I am, because I have always been a caregiver. I wrote a note, I think I was in the 5th grade, between the 3rd and 5th grade, and I said I wanted to be a nurse and a preacher. And over the years, I've always been in the capacity of those things. I've always been interested in, like, spirituality. I've always been willing to talk about it and dig deep. My curiosity is always there about the soul and, like, spirit and the universe, right? And I was taught, as you know, like, I'm very family oriented. And so this level of just, like, a responsibility to, like, the people that I love. And I've cared for both my grandparents as they transition in this home, So it's just, like, a part of me. Like, I love loving on people that I love, and even people that I don't know, right? It's always been available. So I feel like the caregiver has always carried me throughout my life. And the parallel that my mom also gave me about, like, hey, be selfish, right? It helped me to keep a good boundary, especially when I was younger, to, like, not forget myself in the midst of, like, my compassion. But motherhood actually kind of reversed that. Like, I had so much love to give to my child that I actually did. And I don't have any regrets, And so that's the beautiful, mirror to how the caregiver, like, shows up.
And it's incredible to be able to walk with loved ones through the end of life. Yes. A lot of people don't get to do that, but then also to experience giving birth as well. What has caregiving in both of those capacities taught you? Have you seen similarities, or what has it expanded inside of you?
Earlier, you mentioned how, like, death is, like, present in seasons, right? And it always looks different. And I think that in companioning my grandparents, like, as they transition, it taught me, it really just taught me that there is joy and peace in the inevitable, right? And the inevitable also, it's like this thread to, like, me releasing control, right? That, like, even when I release control, I still have access to joy and peace. the death experience showed up for me in birthing because that initiation, right? Of like, there is this old narrative of what I had the capacity for that I have to like actually sever in order to open myself up to what motherhood and partnership, stewardship, right? Like has to give. So I think that's been the lesson. That's been the thread between death and birth.
Tell us a little bit about your project you have going on in Sierra Leone, because that is a big birth.
Yes, it is. And it took me a really long time to like give the organization meaning, because I came up with the name in like 2022. I had a dream. And in the dream, I just kept hearing like Sue, Sue, Sue. It means show up authentically you. Show up authentically you. It's spelled SUAY. And I was just like, okay, that's cool. Like, what we gonna do? You know, I in 2022, like I was in my single era. So I didn't know if that meant like, you know, a healthy juice type of thing with like, you know, curated events around like sacred space or something. I didn't know. It wasn't until 2023, 2024, somewhere up in there, that I went to Sierra Leone, and I was like, oh, okay. I recognize that this is work that needs to be done, right? And like the idea of doing it by myself or his parents, my partner's parents, attempting to do it by themselves, like, I just feel like we need to create something to support this work, right? And then I'm like, oh, well, I have this organization that like could be the umbrella for this, right? And so that's how the project started. Like I already had the organization established, but it didn't have a mission. It didn't have a vision. It like nothing. And so it was literally that connection to the land that gave my organization purpose. And so, yeah, I'm like really passionate about the impact it's having like on my family now that's there, right? And just the people in the village. So it's definitely work that's it doesn't feel like just an initiative or a project. It feels like a responsibility.
I love the beautiful like synchronicities, you know, things that may be like, oh, what a coincidence, building the bigger picture. And it's such a joy when you can see it into fruition.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I always like to end with this question. What are you birthing right now that has nothing to do with motherhood and everything to do with you?
Honestly, I'm birthing like this. It feels like this fun, flowy energy. Like it feels like the sun. It feels very like warm, very like all for me, it's mine. It is creating like this momentum for me to like want to go to the gym, like to want to move my body, to want to like do more things that I love. Like I recently bought like 2 cookbooks, like just to try things, right? Like, so this energy is like really bringing like more curiosity around like who I am right now. And I didn't have that curiosity before. So the curiosity really feels like it's all mine to enjoy and to explore. And I'm just really excited about like what that curiosity is going to like create for the rest of the year.
Yes, I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
Yay. Thank you so much for this incredible
Thank
conversation.
you. Absolutely.
It's so amazing and quite the honor to witness the woman that you're becoming, to see you from one version of yourself. I met you when you were very pregnant and I witnessed you to giving birth, and you just continue to amaze me with the wonderful work that you're doing in the world and just who you are and the radiance that you glow with through the world. So thank you for existing. Thank you for being here. I'm so grateful to know you. And this is What Are You Birthing?
Yeah. What are you birthing?